Guys, today we will going to study about one very important service, that is the Amazon RDS. What is RDS? RDS stands for Relational Database Service. See, before we studied about the NoSQL database, dynamic database we studied, right, where we will work on the NoSQL concepts. But here in this Amazon RDS, we have to focus mostly on the SQL database. So what is the SQL database? SQL database is the database which is formed due to the combination of rows and columns. So the database which is formed due to the combination of rows and columns, which is in structured way, is called as the relational database service. So what is Amazon Relational Database Service? It's a service which is offered by AWS, which is used to control the databases, or which is used to perform the operation on the databases which are in this structure. Where you observe here, if you see how structurally the data is been there, where here if you see ID is the column name, 1 2 3 are the records. So in this particular data, you see there are records, right? 1 2 3 are there, right? So the horizontal place where all the records are being stored are called as the rows. These are called as the rows. And here you see, right, here the column names are there: ID, name, age, department. The all these particular names are called as the columns. So the database which consists of rows and columns, or which is made up of a table, or which is looking like a table, is called as the relational database. So what does this mean? It's a managed database service from AWS that simplifies setting up, operating and scaling relational databases in the cloud. Means what? If you want to work with these databases in the AWS console, you can able to work from here itself. So now to understand this particular table, you have to understand some concepts. See, if you see like here, if you see this student records are there, right? The student records are nothing but the table name, where where if you see the student records, it is having the collection of rows and columns, where these are the rows, where the horizontal records where you enter are called as rows, and the name of the particular row, particular column, name of the particular row, like 101 103 it has some registration number or roll number, right? So the name of the column is called as the column. So each column represents a property or field of that record. Let's say if this is the grade as the property. So inside grade, what you will write? You will write all the property regarding the grade, right? So the properties representing this particular heading is called as the column. Each row represents every single record in the database. As I told, all the records, if you see, are called as the rows. So this is how you can able to understand the concept of tables. Now, one very important thing that we have to understand is, see, for relational database thing, it is a serverless system. What is the meaning of serverless and server? Serverless means where where there is no requirement of the server, but still you can able to create the database. Then such type of services where there is no requirement of any kind of server is called as serverless. So to create RDS, there is no need for server to be there. If you want, you can use the server, but since we are not creating any virtual server, we are not creating any compute instance, so that's why this kind of service where we doesn't use the compute is called as serverless service. And Amazon RDS is one of the example of serverless service. But you can use RDS using this server based also, you can able to use. Either you can use the server based or serverless, both ADS RDS will support. So this is one of the very important information that you have to know: server and serverless, both it supports. So what this RDS will do, it will help in the creating the backups. In this particular concept of RDS, we have a concept called as snapshot. So what snapshot does? Snapshot helps in taking the backup of every interval. You can able to backup your data that AWS offers. Easy scaling means what? Since like as I already mentioned, it's a server based as well as serverless based. Either you can use with the help of compute or there is no need of compute. So very important information here is either you can use the compute or you cannot use the compute. So it is easily scalable, and you can also use this RDS in multiple available zones. So what are the available zones? One example I'll give you. You are staying in one place called as, let's say you are staying in Mumbai. But in Mumbai, there are some areas, right, where this particular AWS databases or AWS virtual servers are stored. So those areas, let's say one area is, let's say in Borivali, one area is, let's say in near Wankhede, one area is near the Bandra. So these three places, let's say this particular place is stored. So these particular three places are called as availability zones, and you can able to store it in multiple availability zones. And it is very secured also because AWS handles security, so it is fully secured. So here we have the example of employee data. Now we will going to create an RDS instance, and we will try to create this employee data from here itself. So let's start going to console. So here I will go to my console. Here I will type in my search, I will type as search and I'll keep it as star, so that every time I should not go and search every time. So I open this thing, and here what you have to do, here you have to go to the concept of databases. Just click on the database. See, in RDS you will create a database, and after creating the database, then what you will do, then after that you can able to work on the databases, and you can create the tables and all. And some of the types of relational databases are SQL, PostgreSQL, MariaDB, Oracle are there. So now if I go to this, but one important information it has given that free tier has only limited features and resources. So no issues. So here the choose the database creation method. There are two ways that you can able to create the relational database. One is the standard create, one is the easy create. Standard create is something where you will going to give all the configurations. But easy create means what? Here the configurations are given by the AWS itself. So that's why we will be going to choose a standard create. See, standard create will have more cost compared to easy create. But since we are using a free tier account, for free tier account, this Aurora MySQL compatible, Aurora PostgreSQL, Oracle, IBM DB2 is not supported. Now you can ask her, what is this Aurora? See, you have used this PostgreSQL, right? So in compared to PostgreSQL, AWS has its own PostgreSQL which is 5 times faster than normal PostgreSQL. So to make your things work fast, you will be using this Aurora. Aurora MySQL is faster than MySQL, 3 times faster, and Aurora PostgreSQL is 5 times faster. So remember this information, very important information. So now here we'll going to choose, okay, we don't have this Aurora compatibility, so we will be going to use the Postgre version because we are going to study the Postgre thing. Now here you have to choose the engine version. You are having the different versions. You are having 15.7, 15.6, 15.8. So now what I will do, I will going to choose the latest version as 17.4 itself. I'll going to choose. If you want to can enable the RDS extended support, but it will be a cost based service. So that's why we won't be enable it. So we'll cut on it. If you want to see, you can directly go to RDS PostgreSQL documentation for it, or if you want to understand about the billing, you can go about it. And here, since mine is the free tier account, so here this only will be by default selected. And for free tier account, only single availability zone is been there. But there is one drawback of having the single availability zone here. Let's say if your database, let's say in Mumbai, let's say in Bandra, let's say you are having a database. So in Bandra, let's say if that database crashes, the entire data will be lost. But since we are having only free tier account, so AWS is offering only a single availability zone. But we should never use the single availability zone. But for learning purpose, I am teaching, we should always use the multi availability zones. Always we have to use it. Because if this particular database crash in the other database, it will be stored. Let's say in Borivali, if the database of Mumbai is present, the availability zone is present, there your data will be stored. So that is better. So now here you can write the database identifier, you can write the name of the database instance. Here I'll write Postgre database, I'll going to write Postgre database, I'll going to write. So this master, this name is very important. So what I will do, I will always do the same thing for every thing. That is here I will going to write all of these details. So here what is the first name, this because these are very important information that you should able to have with yourself. So what is the database identifier name, I will going to write this name. Okay, so not this one. If I go here, I will type this. Then if I go here, then it will ask me the master username, because we have to enter the password also, very important thing. So here I will write master name. Here I will going to write this master username, I will going to write it as admin itself. Admin, I will going to always write easy names here. And listen one thing, you should always use a letter, you should not use hyphen, exclamatory, @ symbols and all. Now credential thing, either you can create your own password, or you can enable, if you want you can ask AWS also to generate the password, but it will cost you some charge. So we will be using the self-managed. So what password I will going to give? Password I'll give very simple, I'll going to write admin @123. I'll going to write this password. So what I will do here, I will go into but it is saying the password is valid, so admin123 I'll going to write. Okay, admin123. So now what I will do here, as always I says password admin123. Remember, very important this is. Now after doing this, what happens, this instance configuration you want, you can configure. If you want you can do, but see one very important thing, since you are having only free tier account, so only micro will be available to you, you don't have the large and all. Or a DB3 micro or D4 micro, any one of thing will be available to you. So large and all you won't be able to get in the free trial service. Now here if you want you can add the storage also, but for now 20 is enough for me. If you want you can add the enough enough storage also, you can able to add here, like maximum, like what is this maximum storage threshold? Maximum storage threshold tells like how much storage that you want in your operating system. That is what your maximum storage threshold will tell. Now if you want, here there is connectivity. What I told, it's a server based as well as serverless based. Serverless based means what, where you cannot connect to your EC2. But if you want to connect it to EC2, it will become server based. So but here we don't want to connect it with the EC2. That's why I'm clicking don't connect to EC2 instance. Here if you want you can create the virtual private cloud. So for now we are doing these things, subnet group, these things and all you can able to do. This is your choice. So here I am keeping this as default itself. There is no, I don't want any preference or availability zone. Anything I can able to do here. If I go to additional configuration, it will ask the database port. So you remember this port number is also very important. Here I will go to the port number, because when we code in Python, because see here below I also add an approach where you can create the table using the Python also. So that's why we can able to do it. If you want you can able to add a tag, if you want to can password authentication you can able to do, insights you can able to do, everything, monitoring, snapshots, everything you can able to do. So KMS key is also there, like enable enhancing monitoring, it will cost. So like this we will go to additional configurations, we can add all of these options here, but for now we are not going to touch all of this. We'll just click on the create database option. Okay, so once I clicked on the create database, it will take 15-20 minutes for you to create the database. Now you see your instance create database is not working because master name admin cannot be a reserved word used by the engine. So here master username, here we wrote the value as admin, right? I cannot write the value as admin, that's why it is not working. So one very important thing, you should never write the master as the admin. So here I'll just write PostgreSQL database I'll going to write, and in the master what I will do, instead of admin I'll going to write PostgreSQL database, and the database, database I'll write, and I'll click on the create database. And once I clicked on the create database, I will go to my if you want, you can click on save. It will take, now itself I am taking, it will take 15-20 minutes to create. So let me create and then I will come back to you guys. So here you see, like once after creating, it will, now you saw this database is coming to be in backing stage, right? So when you go to the backing stage, when you click on this thing here, you go to connectivity and security. Here you will going to get an endpoint. Just click on this endpoint and save on this endpoint. Okay, here I write endpoint and here I will going to save this as the endpoint. This is very important. Why this is very important? Because .txt. Why this is important? This is very important because if your endpoint plays a very important role in connecting your database with either with your in your local, if you want to do coding, to connect with your endpoint, this particular concept is very important. So what I have done, so here if you go here, if you so if you click on this automated backups. So what is this automated backups? Automated backups means what? We have enabled that backup option, right? That's why we are getting this Postgres as this backup option. So here like this is the details of the entire that we have created. Like this is the KMS key, this is the port number, this is the VPC, this is the master username, this is the zone that we created, all the information regarding us. And this snapshot means what? You are trying to backing up the data. So at this time, at 12:12, during the time of creating completed, at that time only your data has been backed up. This is the meaning of snapshot, means taking the backup. So if I go to my snapshot options here, if you want, you can click on take snapshot. Means what? You are taking the backup of your data. Backup is very important when I say about the data. So if you want to take the snapshot, if you want to take the backup of the data, just write the backup of data. If you click on this take snapshot, what will happen here? The snapshot will be taken, means the backup of the data will be taken. Means what? At 12:15 I have taken the backup of the data. This is nothing but here you see, here you've clicked on the take snapshot, right? So this type of snapshot where manually you are creating the backup is called as manual snapshot. But here automated backup means what? This is the backup which AWS is giving, which you are not doing from your hand. That's why this type of backup is called as automated backup. Manual backup means you will create the backup. So that's why in snapshot you see this option of manual snapshot. Okay, so now if I go to my databases, now you see that MySQL database is still in the creating stage, but my PostgreSQL is backing up. Means what? Here why it is showing backing up? Because we have enabled the option called as backup. That's why. So what does this status of backing up means? Whenever you do any operation on this, it will be backed up. Means what? If any corruption happens in your database, your data won't be lost. It will be stored in the backup. Okay. So now what you can do, you can able to export this data into the S3 also. You can able to export. Okay, you can also export this in the S3 also. You can able to export. You can able to play with the lambda also. You can able to play. Like if I click on my not databases instead, I'll click on you can play with lambda also. You can able to play. So this is totally upon your choice how you can able to play with this. So once creating stage comes, it will go to the configuration stage. So in configuration stage, what happens here? The database is been configuring. Why I created this AWS MySQL database? Because I want to create the table in MySQL database. That's why I have used this. So what I will do here, I will click on the endpoint, and here these are the details that I have stored here. Okay, endpoint. And when very important information, by default AWS stores this data in the port number of 5432. By default AWS will store this in 5432 port number. So now you see it is backing up. Means what? Successfully you have backed up the data. And once this backing up has came, it means it will tell that successfully created backup of the data. It will going to tell. So now what we will going to do, we will going to understand some more concepts in RDS. We're going to create an RDS instance. So just now we have saw right how we created the RDS instance. Like we went to RDS, we choose database engine, configure the instance, network settings, create the database, and then we so this is one of the example of RDS that is there for us. Now I want to tell you the final concept of this lecture, that is to study about the RDS billing structure. So RDS billing structure is nothing but how much charge it will going to take if you use a particular service. So if you use the instance type, so in the last lecture I also told, like in the compute structure I told, if you are using the large or X large or thing, the cost will be more compared to the smaller database like micro or small. So that's why your instance type, based upon your instance type and size, the size matters. Based upon the storage that you took, it will charge more. Let's say if you have more storage, if you opted, then it will charge you more. More input output operations cost you more. If you use the backup and if you use the snapshot also, the cost will be generated. So that's why I always tell you, once you complete the use of the service, please turn off that service, because if service is there, then it will going to destroy the entire process. And if you use the multi availability zone also, it will charge you more. So that's why if I take one very monthly estimation here, you see right here, you see DB instance dbt3 medium, cost is $50 per month, storage is 100 GB, like this. If you take, it will take $82 per month. So that's why it is not recommended for us to use this thing. So that's why in free tier account you won't be giving these alt services, you won't be giving up the, you won't get the availability zone, you won't get the medium compute instance, like you won't get this. So now if you want to connect your RDS in Python, in MySQL, if you want to use this module, in PostgreSQL you want to install this module. So we won't be going to use this code, it is just for your information, like what is this particular, what, how, if you want to connect it into your Python terminal, we will be going to use this code. Why we are not going to implement? Because we have the concept called as lambda. Just in lambda, we studied about, or we will going to study about this all things in lambda. Means in AWS itself we will do coding, we won't be doing coding from our system to that, like we won't be doing coding from our Mac to that Amazon Linux, because we are already having the lambda to do all of these codings. So we won't be going to do this, but just to explain you guys, I have written these notes for you. A very important thing, first you have to connect to your database using this, these are the things that are important. And you know, in my relational database I already told you, I already wrote all of these notes to you, so that's why you don't have to worry about these things. And then you have to connect it to cursor, and after cursor you have to just execute the commands and just print it in, then just print it and close the connection, that's it. Now to delete an RDS instance, just now we have studied about the RDS creation, right? To delete an RDS instance, what you have to do, you have to click the database. Here go, let's say I want to delete my Postgre, here I'll just click on the delete option. So now what I will do, here I'll just type delete into the field, sorry, delete me, not delete, and I just click on the delete option. So once I click on the delete, here the deleting process will take place. It will take some 5-10 minutes to delete the entire database, as it is very big database, so it will take some time to delete. So, and if I go to here, then you have to go to RDS, then select the instance, then click delete database. Then you want to if you want to create a snapshot, you can create, or I already created this snapshot, so I can delete the entire database. So from this entire RDS, what did you understood? We understood how you can able to manage the RDS service in AWS. We understood how the structural data works here, and how to manage in RDS you understood. Like what is the billing structure that you understood. Python integration also I almost told you. But the reason for why I am not doing this, because anyways in AWS Lambda we will going to cover these things in very detailed manner. So these are the things that we studied in this lecture. So if you want to try, you can directly try it from here. I know you will get some error points, you have to add some security permissions in database. So do it guys, and that's it guys for this lecture. I hope you understood entire RDS concept. So please do like, share and subscribe guys.